when I was at Fort Bragg down there, and I'd heard this story all my life about Kings Mountain there. I was at Fort Bragg, Lonnie was down there, and we were sitting just talking there, and we was talking about that, and I said, one of these days I'd like to go there. He said, I know exactly where he's at. I can tell you how to get there. And I said, well, how you get there? And he gave me the directions and everything. Now, right there, you heard, that she'll verify it.
Yeah, I was there.
We drove up there, and we way out in the country. And I followed the instructions and got down to the place, but I couldn't figure out exactly which road. And we went to a little store there. And I went in that store, and I told that fella in there, and I said, now, you're going to think I'm crazy. I said, but all my life, my great-granddaddy lived in a house down here, and it was haunted. And he said, oh, yeah, that's right down here. And, and I was like, well, I guess that had something to it. And it had, I think it was from Duke or UNC.
I don't remember.
Anyway, it had college people go down there. But we went down, and when we went down, it was a gravel road, and the road went down and forked. And the way he told me it was on the left fork, and went down to where the creek was. The creek was a critical part of this. So we drove down there and pulled up and parked, and it was raining. It was in the winter.
Yeah. And
we sat there, and I was listening, and I kept looking at her, and I told her, this ain't it. I said, this don't match up. I said, let's go over this other place. And when we went back up the fork of the road and went down, when I drove down there, I was like, this is it. Everything matched exactly the way it's supposed to. In the middle of nowhere. Now, this is a place where you'd want to build houses.
No lights.
Nobody down in there. So we pulled up, and our back, there's a cornfield there, or a field, and I just backed in, and I had one of the little Blazers, little Tahoe, and Daniel and Casey were little, and they were sleeping in the back there. Pulled up there, and it was dark, and it was raining, and the way them new windows are, you can't roll them down, the water come in. I'd roll it down, and I'd listen, and we heard things. I heard the rumbling, like a real heavy rumbling, and I was like, yeah, it could be an airplane. It would echo, this and that. But it was dark, and it was about 7 something.
7:38.
Yeah, it was dark in the winter now, and it's pouring, boy. I mean, and clear as a bell, you can hear the old fella started chopping wood. I mean, and it wouldn't. You hit a pole and it go boom. The only way I could describe it would be an old fella on a big old poplar log. And when it hit, no, he was cutting it with chomping at it. It was cut, chunk, and it hit, cut, chunk. And it was almost like over a cut chunk, you get the axe on, because it'd be that pause.
Yeah.
And then he'd start again. And she was sitting over here, and I looked at her and I said, I can't explain that. And, I was tickled, I said, she said, well, we need to go. We need to go. We got a long ways to go, drive. It's late. It's going to already be late when we get there.
Let's get out of here now.
I said, later on, she fessed up. She said, I was afraid he'd get up on the hood. Chopping at it.